Hey all, I'm Marc Miller. I'm driver of the Gradient Racing number 5 Unit Nutrition Acura NSX GT3 car, and our PR guy thought that you may want to get a closer look at the cockpit and all the instruments that we have here inside the car. So I'm sitting in the car right now and got the okay to turn it on. Not to start it though, they don't let me do that. So let's take a closer look here. Alright, so here we are. We're going to start here with this main panel. We have our radio over here. Homologation, you have to actually have use for all of these, and sometimes they give you a spare buttons, but once you use it, then it has to always be used for that. So we've got some spare switches and everything that really don't do anything, but starting from the bottom, this is our brightness. We can, at night, sometimes this is too bright, so we can kind of turn this down. Very low, very dim. Then we have our wiper, heated windshield, so we can kind of get the defrost basically going. And then we have 2 fan settings. We have 1 and 2 fan and ACs, which keep us cool for the most part, especially on hot days. We got a brake bias adjuster, right to the front, left to the rear. All of our light switches. So at night, when we run at night, we run a cockpit light that illuminates the dash so we can kind of see. These are turn indicators so we can notify people which direction we're going to go. Reset for our telemetry, fuel reset, and then we have 2 switches for a manual and auto clutch. Typically keep on it on auto clutch, and I'll show you how that works in a second. ABS override, our master power ignition switch, and then we move to the steering wheel, which is usually everyone's favorite part of this this car. It does a lot of different things, various settings, but starting from the left and working our way around, radio button. Got to have communication with our team, so we'll use that for radio. To get into reverse, you have to do a push button lockout. The marker switch, that if there's something happens on the track that you want to make a reference to, you just press that marker and it shows up in our data when we download telemetry. Windshield washer and wiper pump, so we can kind of clean the window off. Drink button, basically like the wiper washer but for the driver's face. And sometimes the pump works a little bit stronger than necessary, so I tend to be very careful with this one, otherwise you'll drown while you're racing. Engine map, obviously we try to go full power all the time, so that's set to 1. Our page button allows us to scroll through our various page, and these 2 are typical driver pages right here. So we've got our tire pressures, what gear selector we're in, what our lap time is, what our projected lap is, and our gain loss. Green is always better than red, and it also gives us our TC and our ABS position settings in there, and what lap we're on, and how much fuel is actually remaining. So you can kind of see that after the fuel reset. And when we're using the traction control, it gives you what kind of cut reading we have, so it's how much ignition it's pulling out at the time. And then we have down here a throttle map. This is kind of like a yaw throttle, like a dynamic yaw control. Marker reset, or just dash reset, so we can clear any messages that are up here. Engine start button, starting a timer for when we come into pit lane. You can start an actual timer and it'll start counting down. Our pit speed limiter, which is very important because we cannot speed on pit lane. Flashers, this is the move out of the way button. So you've got to run on someone, you want to let them know that you're getting aggressive, or you need a clean lap, then you can flash that, and it gives them fair warning. ABS selection, so we can make various ABS setting selections. And then our traction control system, we have various maps in here that you can run different TC maps. So Till just got out of the car on old tires. He ended up on TC3. For qualifying, we're just going to keep turning that thing down and try to use as much of the tire as we can. So there you have it. the interior cockpit of our Acura NSX GT3 from Gradient Racing. Not all of these are the same, but this one is pretty nice, and we hope it's even nicer after qualifying.